control spoilers, I have the HUD of the Amos quest pops will be turned off as well. For the most part, I'm going to be showing you as little as possible visually. Some side videos will accompany this later with some more in-depth. So make sure to subscribe for my channel and exclusive videos coming up. Thanks to Sony for the code. Now for my review of God of War Ragnarok, talking about starting with a bang. I mean, within the first couple minutes you start out elbow dropping a beer the knee in the head, and a game that starts with you beating the crap out a gentle being is already weighing in on the 6 scales of my favorite Ragnarok starts, with Kratos and Loki hanging out long after the events of the first game. Needless to say, stuff gets sideways almost instantly, and Kratos and Loki go out to investigate the upcoming chaos and stop what's already started. And yes, that's like setting a serial killer to stop global warming one person at a time. But Kratos acts instantly. He's the mountain of chaos in human form, riding into this inevitable future on a steed made of weapons and armor he is built from the bones of enemies. If it gets it done, it's more important than how it does. This video is sponsored by That's Violence. It's for you, thanks to Sony as well for the code God of War. It's a pleasure to look at. First, it's helped by the impressive handling of all these territories, the variety that the designers constantly throw at you, altering your perception of the location, giving you a feeling of guessing scale. One moment, then next has you clones through draw forms like a Paisley Grandfall visiting the Hobbits. It's a sense of scale that the games have always had that snails. It, however, you are gonna notice that Ragnarok supremely confident in sitting back and letting this location take a great deal of time to get to you. This is not to say you don't notice them. At first, it's just that it's very patient with the unfolding of exploration. It will have you see Loki and Kratos rampaging across mountains with lightness, pulling down around twisted trees, mounting the mood and show even more melting it faster or slowly padding about, yakking with a bodiless head that you carry around because you don't want to get lonely. But it's the character design and the new characters that absolutely impress. The things here is with a slightly different Kratos. I won't spoil anything, but there is a scene where you actually see the main underneath a bit and things begin to make sense. A closing moment where the God of War is brought down just a little bit. Everything looks tighter in Ragnarok as well, and there is something about the animation that feels more filled. It could be the higher level of FPS presentation I'm going to talk about in a bit, but every skill, every single blast from the enemy's magical dark portal spells that are all sent to you in Inspire. Hope in your quite have practical effects that hover around you and fly into the air. It's impressive stuff with a sense of impact that constantly carries the feeling of a messy dude and what it would be like to be hit by a guy who doesn't need to sharpen his axe because he's just gonna push it through you slowly. The new attacks, the characters, the magic, the worlds are all mostly explorable as well, as you take on the main and side missions across all the realms, each with their different looks puzzles. And sometimes people God of War has also made the same strides, and The Last of Us in the other Sony titles in the sociable department, which stretch across audio as well as graphics and gameplay. It's just every part of combat to make it easier or harder completely removed from the difficulty choice that the player can also make, from quests to the puzzles to paintfinding. Every single options to be changed, including high contrast for enemies and all kinds of colorblind options for people who want to change things up a bit. Now, speaking of options, let's discuss the things that a lot of people want to know about, which is the graphics and the options for 4K resolution with a targeted 13 FPS they have a dynamic resolution upscaled to 4K and its target 16 FPS. They have a high frame rate mode resolution, which is targeting 14 FPS, and high frame rate mode, which is dynamic resolution upscaled after playing hours with all of them. I can say this 13 just feels way too stiff in the animation department and a bit juddery despite being able to turn your motion blur from 1 to 10, making a waistline looking mess, and when removing it altogether, it never feels right. Not only that, but the temporal upscaling actually more than good enough to keep the picture image quality stable regardless. One thing you will see here is some pop in on the PS5. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel and press like button on this video. Goodbye.